the Boston Celtics advance after disposing of the Orlando Magic. They advance to the second round of the playoffs. Meanwhile, Jake, the Knicks have to play at least one more game against the Detroit Pistons. Life is good. Jake Eisenberg, welcome, sir. How you doing?
It's a good day. It is a good day to be a Boston Celtics fan. You close out the series in 5. The New York Knicks have to play another game on the road. The Celtics get their extra rest. This is how we drew it up. We were waiting for the game where we blow this shit open. And you said it earlier on the playback stream. These Celtics, game 5s at home, closeout series, this is what they do. And sure, was I shitting my pants a little bit throughout the first half as they threw the ball all over the court and refused to get an offensive rebound? Yeah, but they stuck with it. Jaylen Brown, absolutely, I thought, was the energy shifter in that third quarter, drawing fouls on Paolo Banchero, getting downhill, getting and ones, and that was the moment. It finally was the switch that flipped, and the avalanche that we've been waiting for all series finally happened, and we sent these bums back to fucking Disney World, dude.
Yeah, thank God, man. I am so sick of the Orlando Magic. I was so happy to never see them again, particularly like Franz Wagner in this one. I know Paolo had his like magician pull-up mid-range hit everything games, particularly earlier in the series. But like some of the stuff that Franz was hitting in this game in particular, like over his head, behind the basket, reverse layup shit, like over KP, was ridiculous. But Paolo Banchero, I believe in this one,
just
notched up. Bunch of fouls, thank you. And Jaylen Brown, like you said, going directly at him, particularly to begin the third quarter, turning the tides, Jake, because that first half, so stressful, the messiest form of basketball. I really liked Joe Mazzulla's management of the game in spite of that, in spite of the messiness from the Celtics early in this game and sort of managing the rotations. Both of our primary bigs, Horford and KP, both in foul trouble. I thought Luke's presence on the court throughout the game was really important as well. So great, I guess, game and rotation management from Joe early on. And then the execution from the get-go in the second half, obviously the turning point, Jake.
Yeah, this game was just like, sometimes things don't go your way, I guess. Like, I'm sure before the game, they talked about, let's not turn the ball over and let's rebound. And sometimes, I guess the other team just takes the fight to you and it's more difficult to grab some rebounds than you thought. You start forcing some passes into places that they shouldn't go. But settle down. Al Horford, it sounds like, gave the team a halftime speech, got his Florida Gator on, and inspired the squad to finally start playing a little more serious. The turnovers, I think, in the second half, I'm not sure what the number ended up as, but they had, I think, 2 in the second half. So they completely flipped the margins in the second half. The Magic ended the game with 15 offensive rebounds. I don't remember how many of those came in the first half. And I thought Tatum, even though things weren't going great in the first half, Tatum was just like kind of metronome scoring, ticking along. He did kind of lose his mind on a couple of fouls late in the first half where he fouled Paolo on an and one and he fouled Wendell Carter on a rebound and sent him to the line. That was dumb, but he also ended the half with 2 buckets and he had 16 points at halftime. And it's like without those 16 points on really efficient shooting, the Celtics would have been down like 10, and that just would have been a more difficult hole to climb out of. It would have been, the Magic would have had momentum and felt more confident. So to have him start to finish, I thought was incredible. And he ends the series averaging 30 points per game. He's got to be one of the worst stat patters in the history of the game, though. He came back in the game and he's like got 9 for 13. And I'm like, I know he's going to come in and miss like 3 shots and he's going to fuck his efficiency up. But got to the free throw line one more time and especially hit that 3 ball, which was kind of crisis averted. Like, how many times do we have to see someone land underneath Jason Tatum's feet? So we dodged a bullet there, but we got the 4-point play.
Yeah, my heartbeat froze on that last one. And sorry, folks, I've just bumped up my volume, so hopefully I sound better now. But yeah, another cutting of JT late in this one. I was like, of course, right as we're wrapping up the series, this is going to be the one where he gets a high ankle sprain. But seemed to survive, got to the free throw line, knocked them all down, 11 for 11 in this one. And another incredible stat line from JT. So like really a captain's knock while missing a game like throughout the series. I know he had a rough sort of efficiency game to begin the series while maybe adjusting initially to some of that Magic physicality, but finishes, the second half of the series very solid. So you'd love to see that from your leader. Yeah, I know we're kind of jumping all over the place here.
Well, yeah, on Tatum, like he leads the team in plus minus again tonight. Even in that game one where he wasn't as efficient, I think he grabbed 14 rebounds, maybe in 12, and he led the team in plus minus. His like plus minus and net rating for this series is like astronomical, and he's going to be one of the leaders for the playoffs in net rating. Obviously going to be boosted a little bit from this game, but you just desperately need his steady hand at this point for generating offense against a defense like the Magic. You need his rebounding, you need his defense, you need everything from him, and tonight was a great way to close it out. 3 straight games, 36 points, 37 points, 35 points. Pretty fucking good.
That's fucking amazing. Yeah. And the efficiency from the free throw line from pretty much everywhere, 4 of 5 from 3 tonight, which you may have already mentioned as I was adjusting my volume. But love to see that. Yeah, just going back to the change in approach from the first half to the second game, just as it pertains to this particular game. Looking at cleaning the glass at the halftime break, Jake, the Magic were, I think, like plus 12 in transition points per possession or points per 100, which was good for like 91st percentile. They finished the game plus 0.7 points per 100 in transition. So you turn off the turnovers, you turn off their transition efficiency, you turn off really the only offensive capability the Magic have holistically as a team. So, on top of the racking up the fouls on Paolo, on top of JB just like getting his mind right and like switching up his approach to the game and actually like being present in the moment, you completely shut down what the Magic were able to do in this one. You stop Franz from getting downhill consistently. You start to really I thought they started to dig in on his drives as well and start to relearn the fact that he has very few legitimate efficient kick out options as well. So it's okay to like help from a couple of sides of the court on Franz's drives as well. And they really started to lock in on all fronts as far as like disabling what the Magic can do offensively. And then finally, the threes started to fall in the second half as well. We finished the game shooting 54.2% from beyond the arc on only 24 attempts, which is low for the Celtics, but just they got them up for the most part in the second half, actually started to hit them. Saw some Peyton Pritchard threes, saw some Sammy Buckets threes, and it just started to look like the old familiar Celtics again.
I almost forgot what it felt like to see some three-pointers go in. Like, I think that may have been the most threes they've hit in a game this series. And the attempts in this series just kept going down, down, down. Like, they started the series 37 attempts. And it's like, okay, 37, that's a fine number against this Magic defense. 6 attempts or in that first half is just, like, the fact that I got to credit the Magic defense, man. Like, they did a really good job all series of making the Celtics uncomfortable and giving themselves their best possible chance that they, could have really realistically have at beating a team that was just like going to out-talent them across the board. And so they shrunk the game from a possession perspective. So teams trying to get big leads wasn't really possible. They limited the 3-point shots. So to see them finally get loose from the 3-point line, it just was like a wave of euphoria over my body, led by, Tatum hit a big pull-up 3 early there to get it going, and it kind of felt like from there, like that was curtains for the Magic. Like, we got threes from kind of everybody. I got to shout out Horford. How many did he hit tonight? 1. Well, he hit 1, but he also hit 2 2-pointers with his foot on the 3-point line. So
that's right.
I'll give him credit for having his 3-point shot dialed in. They felt like punished threes. He had that one at the end of the third quarter where Tatum was going downhill. The avalanche was happening. The Garden's going crazy. Gets downhill. 1 second on the clock. Kicks to Al in the corner. And it goes doink, doink. Red Auerbach just blows it right in. Bit of cigar smoke to help that one fall in. And the Celtics go into the fourth quarter with a 21-point lead. And we feel good.
Feeling great. Yeah, the hour back tip in, man. We love to see it. Yeah, JB, just again, I really want to celebrate what he was able to do in this game and really in this series. Like, we knew he was coming in hampered somewhat. We don't know the specifics of the injury really, especially as far as like the recovery timeline, if there is one within the confines of the postseason, or whether there's some sort of procedure or just extended time frame of recovery needed in the offseason. What he was able to put together, I think generally throughout the series, rather, in hindsight, obviously finished with a bang in this game, 9 of 18 from the floor. Huge turnaround in the second half in this one. I really respect what he was able to bring to this game, especially obviously the Tatumless game in game 2 there.
Oh, yeah.
Really impressive from JB. I think it bodes well now with the extra rest that we're getting with the Pistons-Knicks series going, an extra game. Love
Huge.
That. And, love to see just back on the three-point shooting that they are still able to do that they maybe themselves remember that they're able to do that, because going into a series against the Knicks, potentially, you're going to get a lot of much more open looks against Cat in drop, for example. We know the formula against the Knicks, and the fact that they still have that in their pocket, I think, is huge going forward.
Jaylen Brown, fucking warrior, dude. He just is, man. Like, I don't want to know what it's like to play basketball with whatever's going on with his knee, but he willed his way to a really, really good game. Like, there were some moments where felt like he was forcing it a little bit in the first half. Honestly, similar to the last game, forced it a little bit early, but settled in. Corey Joseph kept defending Jaylen Brown with his face, and Jaylen Brown was like, I will put my shoulder into your face. I will draw multiple fouls on Paolo Banchero. I'm going to get to the free throw line. He actually missed a couple of free throws today, but when you're going to go 2 for 4 from 3, he gave you 23 points on good efficiency. Like, this is big picture for the Celtics. Like, it's hard to know where the knee and the body's going to go, but if this is the version we're going to get from Jaylen Brown going forward, maybe it's going to ebb and flow as kind of series go, depending on the day. But like, if you get this Jaylen Brown, I feel very good about a Knicks series and a Cavs series potentially. So that's really important. And like, the fact that he's able to continue to shift the energy on these games. And he had that big dunk in the third quarter as well. Like, he was huge. And to see the Jays, man, this is as good as the team is with Derek White, as good as the team is with Drew Holiday, who didn't play, and Kristaps Porzingis, who technically played today. The team comes back to these two guys. They're the pillars. They're the franchise. The guys that can play 40-plus minutes, give you 30 on any given night, the rebounding, the playmaking from Jalen late, getting downhill, draw, little no-look Magic Johnson to Luke Cornett. It was beautiful.
Yeah, and like the fact that they once again have proven like the Celtics holistically can play any type of way. They'll play your way of basketball if you want them to and still beat you at your own game. Dragon style, Tiger style, Magic style in this case, and they will defeat you in your own flavor of basketball. So that said, again, very happy to not see the Magic for a while now. I'm exhausted by just watching us try and score against their defense. And credit to the Magic, like, their defense was incredible. We may not see, unless we're lucky enough to see OKC in the finals, we may not see a defense that elite again for the remainder of the postseason. What else comes to your mind in this one, Jake? Sort of with this game or the series as a whole, as we get to sort of wrap up our thoughts on this series?
I thought the bench was impactful today. Like, it struggled a bit early. Obviously, some of this is maybe they felt a little bit comfortable once the Celtics got up 20. But Luke Cornett, I thought, was good. And had to be good in the non-Kristaps minutes because he got into foul trouble. He defended Franz really well compared to Kristaps Porzingis. Like, on those switches, you knew Franz didn't want to shoot the three. He, gave him enough space and was able to. We got to give me that shit from Luke. I don't think I'm not sure we've ever gotten to give me that shit from Luke.
No.
But he stuffed him at one end and he was making plays on the other end. He gave us, a few rebounds, a couple of assists, stealing a block. He was solid, and then Hauser late kind of got going, but Pritchard, I thought, put pressure on defensively. Just like as a collective, I think that hopefully they feel a little bit of confidence going into a Knicks series, because this was just a bloodbath and a rock fight where it was difficult for Hauser to get going. So to see him last two games here, he goes 2 for 3 from 3 last game. It was like he's going to get 2 threes every game. In the first couple of games, missed him. Last couple of games, made him. And that's just kind of the life as a shooter. Mm-hmm. And for him to help us, complete the avalanche here was lovely to see.
Hauser's defense did improve though throughout the course of the series. Peyton Pritchard as well, and I kicked myself last night because we did our like series trends pod yesterday, and we didn't really talk about the trend of Pritchard, like his small stature holding up against Paolo in particular on one-on-one defensively, and I think that was really obvious in this game tonight as well, and held up incredibly, and the shot started to fall a little bit for Pritchard again, like you said, once the avalanche had already begun. But it's good to have that momentum going forward. But yeah, Peyton Pritchard defensively not really being played off the court at any point as a victim throughout the course of this series, I thought was really impressive. Hopefully bodes well going up against what will likely be the Knicks. I think, let's be honest, just thankful to the Pistons for prolonging it at this point and like getting back to Jalen. I would imagine that 4 days rest does something positive for Jaylen Brown's condition as well. So. But shout out to Pritchard. Shout out to the bench. Shout out to the motherfucking Boston Celtics. Man.
Shout out to the motherfucking Boston Celtics. That's fucking right, dude. Shout out to the Boston Celtics. Winning playoff series 5-1 is hard to do against the second best defense in the league. But that's the Pritchard takeaway for sure. Coming into the series, I was unsure about him being able to play because of his size and them kind of hunting him defensively and him having trouble beating guys off the dribble. He's off, and like now when you zoom out and look at the full series for him, he got off offensively in the first couple games. The offense for him kind of dried up, but defensively he did a better job guarding Franz and Paolo than KP. And that says a lot about Pritchard and Kristaps Porzingis. But the fact that he was able to handle Franz and Paolo in the post, like you fast forward to a Knicks series or a Cade series, Pritchard has several possessions on Cade Cunningham, where he held up in switches against Brunson. That's going to be a spot where we're going to be in drop coverage, hedging and recovering. Can he maintain his level of physicality and impact Brunson? The way that he's been able to improve his defense is just he's able to play 25 minutes in a game like tonight. He's able to play 20 minutes. He's able to step up when Drew Holiday's not there. Like when you lose Drew, you're thinking defense. And for Pritchard to be able to fill that hole, at least to some degree, tip the cap.
Yeah, well, stay on the court, because on the other end of the court, obviously the spacing, the benefit to the spacing that just his presence alone serves is so good. So if he can just keep himself on the court, which it seems like he can't be exploited against. Like if you're going to be able to exploit Peyton Pritchard, it's going to be with a big meaty wing like Paolo. And if you can't get it done with that approach, then, tip your cap to Peyton Pritchard. Love to see it.
Exactly.
Just quickly
size doesn't always matter when it comes to guarding in the post. Sometimes a little bit motioning in the ocean. So shout out to the chat. And while you're here, there's like 300 of you watching across a couple platforms. Yes. Just move over. Use that little like button. Help the fellas out. It's a good time to like the stream.
Definitely like the stream. Help us defeat the algorithm overlords, and subscribe while you're at it as well. We've got shows coming on the reg. We'll have a series recap, myself and Spoonie tomorrow, and then Jake and Dan Greenberg, aka Still Greeny from Barstool Sports, going to be live in a couple hours time for Celtics Late Night, a show we do regularly here on the First of the Four YouTube channel. So subscribe, notifications, so you won't miss any of these live streams. Everything we do on the channel, Jake, is live, so it's always a vibe in here. You can always jump in the chat, fire off your takes. We'll put them up on the stream. They'll end up on the podcast later on Spotify. I'll stop spooking the show now, Jake. Yeah. Any closing thoughts before we wrap this up? Shout out Tony Pastor in the chat, our Cavs correspondent. He's right. We didn't complete the clean sweep. We'll see. We'll see if the Cavs can complete the clean sweep of the Indiana Pacers in the same way that the Boston Celtics did last playoffs. But I very much appreciated the Bucks. Man, we had to hop into playback because the Celtics game was starting, but the Bucks had a 7-point lead with like 40 seconds to go when we moved over to the Celtics game, and we're following the play-by-play, and I've watched it now, and it was a disaster. I've never seen a collapse like that before. I mean, it was reprehensible, and I didn't think it could get more bleak after Dame tore his Achilles, but then they go down, like pride on the line, didn't go down without a fight. Shout out Gary Trent, shout out Giannis, and then they shit their pants in like spectacular fashion to lose the series and potentially end the Giannis era is brutal. But yeah, and so now that means that I was never really worried about the Pacers being tired. Like this,
like even if they extended the series one more game, two more games, that's a team that is kind of ready to go. But I would say it helped the Pacers' chances of beating the Cavs or extending the series by like some sort of percentage, from somewhere between 0.1 to 5%, somewhere in that range. So we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just an appropriately dismal ending to the Bucks season. Unfortunately, it's been pretty brutal for those guys. But look, the story for this one has been the Celtics in 5 yet again. Death, taxes, and the Celtics closing out at home in 5 games, as it were. Jake, love your work, mate. We'll catch you guys later on Celtics Late Night. Peace.